Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel. My name is Mark, and in this video I wanted to talk about what it's been like from my perspective recently, going through these energetic upgrades, these downloads, these changes, integrating this energy and that kind of thing, specifically when it comes to feeling disconnected from source, from your higher self, from your guides. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, I appreciate you stopping by. In the near future, I'm going to do a series on the various stages of spiritual awakening from my perspective and the ascension process and what you can expect to happen as you move through these stages. So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Those will be upcoming very soon. So thank you for stopping by. In this video, I wanted to talk about basically what's been happening recently with me and integrating this energy and feelings of disconnectedness and how I can tell that I'm evolving and growing, even though I'm kind of going through the same cycles I've been going through since I awakened. And it's really fascinating to me because, when we have an awakening, and not everybody goes through such a dramatic awakening event like I did, an opening up simultaneous to a higher aspect of us, source, oneness, whatever, cosmic, that kind of thing was very spontaneous with me. Some people have this feeling within them, and they gradually step into it and open up to the awareness of their higher self. And however that has been for you, there is no right or wrong. We choose how we are going to experience these awakenings and this ascension process before we come into this lifetime. So whatever you are experiencing is what you had chosen to do, and we just go with it and don't compare yourself to others. But I wanted to shed a little bit of light on what's happening with me and what I've been experiencing recently, which is really, really cool. So I liken, a good metaphor really for a spiritual awakening. If you have something like that, it's just kind of being all of a sudden, when we're born, we come into this life, we're like dropped into a huge pit, and we find ourselves in wandering around this pit of darkness, and we have no knowledge of what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to move along and get through life. So we look externally and we're taught, right? We get things handed down, traditions, cultures, parents teach us, education, religion, whatever. So it gives us a foundation for how we think we're supposed to navigate, right? We're at the bottom of this giant pit. And the thing is, because we're in the bottom of this big pit, we're looking around and we're just seeing dark walls, darkness. We're cut off. We're cut off from what lies above, what we've been separated from when we were, fell into the pit, when we were born. So when we have an awakening, it's almost like we look up. All of a sudden, something gets us to look up. And we look up and we see the beautiful light. We see the sunshine. We see it flooding into to this, this hole that we're in. And we could see it, right? And that just gives us such an amazing, amazing feeling. Nothing that like I've ever felt before when I had my awakening. Completely incredible, life-changing. And we become aware of that, right? We're aware, hey, if we look up, there's light. There's, the sun. There's warmth, whatever it may be. There's our cosmic beings, our soul family, our higher self, our even deceased relatives, right? Ascended masters, archangels, all sorts of wonderful things are there. So we start to focus our attention on that light. And because we're down in this deep hole, sometimes those beings have to come down a little bit. They lower their frequency to get our attention initially, and that's kind of what happened with me through the guided meditation. Before I had my awakening, I met my guide through that. I've told this story a couple times before, and as I continued with that guided meditation, I was able to bring him out with me and able to communicate with him outside of the meditation. So then I had this awakening after that, and it just opened me up to everything. So shifted my awareness from, oh, I have a spirit guide, to, oh, wow, I'm part of everything. And it was just mind blowing. So when we look up from this bottom of this hole that we were dropped in when we came to Earth, we see the light, right? Now, what happens is our guides, could be our star family, our spirit guides, whatever it may be, will come in and they will make themselves known, because now we're aware of this greater reality. They come down and they make us known and they grab our attention. And what they do is they start to help us climb up out of this pit. Okay, so when we're climbing, they're guiding us. They're holding our hands. Okay, we need to grab here. We need to grab there. Continue, following up and moving up this hole, so to speak, back up to the oneness. And during this journey of ours, what happens is we start to really align with and integrate their energy. We align with their energy, okay? And as we do this, they will pull their frequency back. They will raise their frequency. And when they raise their frequency, we may find that we are detached from them, okay? Because there comes a point when we are learning to align and learning to feel and trust that they have to pull back. It's almost like when like my dad, I remember when I was young, was teaching me how to ride a bike, and he's holding onto the bike, right? He holds onto the bike, and I'm finally get it, and I'm balancing, and then he lets go of the bike. And I'm kind of going off on my own, and then I realize he's not there, and I mentally get concerned, and fear creeps in, and I fall. Well, that's part of the process of what's happening when we go through Ascension. So as we're climbing up out of this towards the light and really raising our frequency, the guides will kind of pull back. And what they want us to do is to learn to work and trust the energy that we have been aligned with. Okay, so it's almost like before you go farther on to the next stage, we got to see if you could find that alignment and learn to trust it and continue climbing up out of this hole yourself. Okay, so we do that, and that's a disconnected feeling. Now, when that starts to happen, it's very concerning. I've been through that a few times, especially right after my awakening in the beginning, and I'm like, oh my God, I've lost everything. What do I do? How do I get it back? And the very thing that prevents me from getting it back is my very own mind, because my mind continues to search externally. Okay, so when really all I have to do is just look up, and there it is. But that's part of the process, and we need to recognize these patterns of these insecurities and these patterns of needing this externalness, so that we could learn to trust and rely on the fact that we are the very thing that we seek. Okay, so these are just patterns coming up. Now, as we continue to focus on that, and we what are we going to do? It's like, okay, well, I've lost everything, I'm going to stop. Or we choose to continue on, which is what we do, because we know what we've experienced, right? This wonderfulness, and we know deep down that it's there. So we don't give up. We continue on, even though we don't have the help of our guides or the connectedness. We continue climbing up out of that hole, because we know in our heart that the light's there. So as we continue, we move up, and these insecurities, we start to really heal them, because we're saying to our ego, we're creating space and saying, nope, we're not going to fear this. We're just going to continue forward, because that's deep down what we feel that we need to be doing. So we do it. And we come up to another level, and then all of a sudden, the connection starts to come back. Okay? So what we've done is we've increased our vibration through healing these patterns and doing the shadow work and that kind of thing, and starting to trust. We've raised our base frequency up into the vibration of where our guides are. Okay? And then the process repeats. We get into that frequency, they work with us some more, and then boom, they're gone, because they've raised up again. Okay? So we continue this over and over and over. And this is a process of receiving new energy, creating space, these downloads, healing, so that we could download more, activate more of our DNA, ground more light, and open up to a greater sense of our true source energy. So this continues to happen, and it's really an amazing thing. But the more you go through it, the less you will rely on that communication with your guides. Okay, and I know that could sound a little bit concerning to people because everybody really wants to have that communication with their guides. Everybody wants to really feel like they're there. It's really cool, right? That's part of society. That's, we see these shows with these mediums and that kind of thing, and we see online people are communicating with ETs. Very cool, but that's your mind. And here's where it gets really cool. When you get up to a point, you're going to realize that you don't need any of that. Okay? And I know you might be thinking like, wait, what? And it's true, you don't need it. It becomes a choice. Now, the past few weeks with all this energy that's been coming in, I haven't really been communicating with my Pleiadian guide. I'm very close with her. She's always been there for me since I met her, since I found her. And even my main spirit guide, haven't really communicated with them. And it's interesting because I didn't really have the thoughts of oh, where'd they go, or anxiety, that kind of thing. I just felt that I didn't need to, but something deep within me knew they were there. And when I was laying out and sitting out in the sun this morning doing a little bit of breath work, I had a thought. I said, I'm going to try to connect with my Pleiadian guide. And instantly there she came, and I asked her, I said, what's really been happening these past couple of weeks? Because I've been feeling this new energy and I've been working with it, and I haven't really had that anxiety or fear that I've lost you. I've just known you were there. And she said to me, as you embody more of your higher self, your soul's energy, that need does dissolve because your guides, everything external, becomes more a part of you. So I've been aligning with their energy simply by the fact that I haven't had resistance to it. I haven't worried about not communicating from an awareness standpoint. I've been actually pulling their energy through, and that's been helping me to integrate everything. So it's really like they've become more a part of me. So in that situation, the need to communicate with our guides becomes a simple choice. The more we embody their energy, the more their energy will flow, whether we're aware of it or not. And that's where the trust comes in. When we are trusting the information that comes through to us, our soul's information, our guide's information, when we completely trust it, it flows. Okay, so that leaves us able to focus on what we're doing externally here on Earth, creating whatever our soul's purpose is. We can ground and manifest that energy from this wholeness, this frequency of what we had previously perceived as our individual guides. It's just there. And when we want to communicate with them or see them as separate, like if I wanted to communicate with my Pleiadian guide like I did this morning, I just simply focus my awareness into that particular frequency and stream of consciousness, and now that energy is brought through into my awareness, and I can have a conscious conversation with her. Okay? But just know that energy is always there as you embody this and you learn to trust. It's just simply flowing through you, and it becomes a choice as to whether or not you want to bring that experience of communicating with them into your conscious awareness, because otherwise it just flows through as feelings, as knowing, and that's what we're here to do, is to ascend up into that space of oneness and just letting all of our energy flow. And as I've said before, they're all us. We're all one. So that's what's happening. And I hope that as you go through these stages and these cycles of maybe feeling disconnected, that you remember this and work on what you're supposed to be working on in those times of disconnectedness and healing yourself recognizing these patterns and just knowing that all that energy is there. And as we can heal these patterns, we create more space, and it just simply flows. And we could take our awareness of what we're doing here and focus it on our creating whatever we're supposed to be doing in alignment with our life's purpose, and know that we have the full support of that energy flowing through us. And when we so choose, we want to have a direct conversation, we simply adjust our focus into that stream of consciousness that is in alignment with their energy, and there they are. You have not lost a thing. You have gained everything. I hope this video resonated with you guys. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment below if you have any experiences that you'd like to share. I would really love to hear them. And again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will talk to you guys soon.